So Agurin's team, CGN, got disqualified from Prime Division 1, which is a league that they won in Spring Split. And they also got disqualified from EMEA Masters because they were already qualified for it from Winter and Spring points, right? And their team got disqualified because they failed to submit the roster like 5 times or something. And then the league just decided, hey guys, goodbye. Now Agurin posted a huge statement. We ain't reading all of that, guys. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna copy paste. Let me open up ChatGPT here on the second screen. Let's see what ChatGPT says. The team got disqualified from the Prime League First Division after 4 incidents over the past 5 match days. The main reason were organizational issues, some mistakes from a new team manager, and a few lineup errors. The team admits to their mistakes, but they feel the league didn't communicate properly or offer solutions. They believe the penalties were too harsh, especially since they tried to resolve things by offering alternatives like financial penalties instead of game cancellations. Despite issues in Split 3, they believe their overall performance in the league, both from Split 1 and 2, should have kept them in playoffs. The key incident: lineup mistake corrected without penalty, substitution error after a suspension leading to minor penalties, forfeit against Ainz due to personal and organizational issues, another forfeit after a lineup mistake that wasn't allowed to be corrected in time despite attempts to find a solution. Ultimately, they're disappointed by how the league handled things and believe it negatively impacted not only the team but the entire league ecosystem. They wanted to continue competing, especially in the EMEA Masters, and feel that the punishments were too focused on organization mistakes rather than the players' performance. I don't know what to say about this. I think this is a massive loss for the league community, because as much as they fucked up, right? The reality is that, I mean, at least from my perspective, I think Shimmer teams are way more entertaining to watch than normal teams. I think CGN, at least for myself personally, I really enjoyed watching their team, and I was rooting really hard for them the last EU Masters, where they had a very close series against some team, maybe Barcelona or someone, I don't know. I don't remember that much anymore. So I think this is just a massive loss for the community. Like, I would love to watch their team. Like, Shimmer teams are so nice. And I feel like over time, this year, there's less and less Shimmer teams. Like, Nord is constantly changing the roster, and Nord is now not a Shimmer team really anymore that much. There's like the Polish team still, that's a Shimmer team, and then there's like, there was CGN and now they're out. I mean, I don't know what to say. I honestly think, like, after reading the Agurin statement, which I did off screen, or like off stream yesterday, I just think I'm kind of leaning towards, like, the penalties are way too harsh. Like, why did they disqualify them from the whole league or took away even their EMEA Master spot just like that? Half or maybe like a few of their issues were for sure their fault, but some of them weren't even like really the player's fault or anything like that. It was just, I don't know how the manager fucks up submitting a lineup 2 times in a row. That guy should probably not be a manager, but I guess that they are learned. I don't know. In your opinion, who is the Trundle of mid lane, aka the most OP at the moment? The most OP midlaner at the moment is Azir, for sure. Nothing comes close. But in solo queue, you don't get to feel, because people have, like, so Azir is very bad solo queue champion. He has very low win rates, and he only is really noticeable in Challenger MMR. That's the only time where someone will pick Azir and actually showcase the strength of the champion. But yeah, Azir is for sure the best mid laner in the game. No one is even close. But in general, it's hard to compare jungle champion strengths to mid and champion, because jungle as a role is just a lot stronger. So it doesn't even matter what champion it is. Like, most of the champions that are remotely meta, and you compare them to any remotely meta mid lane champions, the jungle champion is just stronger because it's a jungle role. 100% win rate, 20 wins and 0 losses solo. Every game is streamed live for educational purposes. People will hate me for smurfing, but I'd rather play the game in lower elos than wait 30 plus minutes on my challenger account only to get a master and grandmaster lobby. Wow. I think people are maybe finally starting to come to senses. If more people have the same mindset as this guy, then Challenger will die out even more. Which, you know, I'm not saying it's his fault or something, right? I'm just saying people are maybe slowly realizing and coming to senses that as a Shimmer, it doesn't make any sense to play in Challenger, which is what I've been saying for like a long time now. Well, as the person that inspired me realizing this was actually Baus, because Baus has always played in Master Elo, never in Challenger. And it took me a while to grasp why he does it. And it's actually so smart, because it's just easier to farm YouTube games, it's better stream content, it's literally faster queue times, and it's way more variety. in champions. Everything is just a bonus. Whether you face master players or whether you face challenger players doesn't even matter unless you're playing, unless you're like in Korea and you can put like on a YouTube video, I face Faker, right? Then it matters. But if you're NA in EU, like what are you gonna put on a YouTube video? I face Caps. People don't care. People care if you face Faker. And that's the only thing they care about. I don't think he does it on purpose. Do you really think Baus is not capable of instantly hitting challenger if he wants to? Like, come on. We can't be having this discussion again. That reminds me when people were making Shimmer tier lists in terms of skills and everybody put Baus super low, saying that Baus is a bad player. And I was one of the only players who put Baus on the high on the tier list when making like Shimmer skill tier list. Bramble is better than Sunfire. Against most auto attackers, you know, those lethal tempo AA reset champions usually take about as much damage from Bramble alone as they would from 20 to 30 seconds, 27 to 30 per second from Sunfire on an 800 gold component. Like Tabi, Bramble offers more protection, Moonspeed and is cheaper, offers anti-heal as well. Don't know if Sunfire is too weak or Bramble is too OP, but something doesn't feel right. Should I give my take on this? My take here is that this is a garbage post because it's comparing a component for 800 gold with a legendary item, Sunfire Cape. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you ever compare a component with a full item? The items are not even close to being the same and they don't have the same functionality. Now I do agree that Sunfire Cape is a weak item, for sure. I actually wonder if Sunfire Cape's design is just outdated maybe. Because like the design that you have to stand to something next to it for it to burn feels just awkward in 2025 in my opinion. That's a separate issue. But Sunfire is for sure too weak and I'm actually not sure why Riot doesn't buff Sunfire. What do you think about Singed? Is he abandoned or not? No. You know what I think Riot should do? I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with this. Especially if you're a Riven or Singed player. You're gonna disagree with this, okay? But I think Riot should make minions have higher armor and MR in the early game, probably in the first 5 minutes of the game, when they are not past the tier 1 tower. So it's to nerf proxying. I think proxying should not be as strong as it is in the first, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes of the game. Because there's just too many champions that can proxy level 1, which I think is ultimately wrong about the game. Now, I understand, right? You're a Singe player and you can proxy. What do you do with your champion in certain matchups? I don't know, bro. I think that champ just needs a rework, is my answer. If it can't lane without proxying, then the champion just needs a rework, honestly. One of the last unconventional ways of playing and you want it removed. The thing about it, like, you have to understand that as much as you can call it unconventional way of playing, it is inherently unhealthy for the game. Maybe not in the elo that you play in, but the game that I play in, which is high MMR and Challenger, where proxying is a lot more used, it is extremely unhealthy for the game. Your elo makes up 1% of all players at most. Yeah, so if proxying gets nerfed, it will only affect 1% of player base. So what exactly is the argument here? Guys, Riot has given up on making people play unconventional things, okay? They want League to be about top lane, jungle, mid, and ADC and support, okay? They don't want the game for you to play Smite bar top lane. They just don't. Yo, I gotta talk about this one. This is pretty interesting. Why is Katarina not a jungler yet? Assassins in mid haven't been playable in Challenger for some time. By some time, he means many years. Riot turned Zed, Talon, Echo, Qiyana into junglers, why not Katarina? Make daggers deal 200 to 300% damage to monsters and champ is fixed and fun again. What do I think about this? It is true that assassins are very bad in Challenger for many years, and it sucks for someone like Catawolf, who's obviously very good, that he cannot really play a character that is very good at his elo. But I kinda also don't think Katarina should be a jungler. Because I don't think Katarina's kit makes sense for it to be a jungler. And the reason why I say that is specifically because of her blink. I think her blink would be too toxic in jungle. I think it makes plenty of sense for Talon to be a jungler. I think it makes plenty of sense for Qiyana to share also jungle. Echo also makes sense. Zed specifically also makes kind of sense. But I think Zed has like a kind of separate issue where his clear split is just brutal. And Riot kind of keeps it that way, because then Zed's jungle gets occasionally played, in competitive even. Because Zed jungle is the only role that Zed will ever be played in competitive. Mid and Zed is just not really happening, so Echo is not a blink as well. Echo is a blink as well, but Echo's blink is a lot like shorter range and it's not reset heavy, right? Like again, you could make arguments for Akali, for Katarina, for Fizz or something. I don't know. You could make arguments for these champions to be junglers. I just don't think these champions, their kits are the same suited for jungler as someone like Talon and Echo and Kiana and whatever. I think Fizz would have an insane frustration problem because of E. I think Katarina would have also insane frustration problem because of E. And yeah, what was the other one I mentioned? Akali. I mean, Akali. Making Akali kill jungle camps, I don't know if that makes sense because she has like a stealth ability in the kit, right? She has like camouflage in the kit. How are you gonna use her camouflage against camps? You wouldn't. So it doesn't make any sense for Akali, for example, to be a jungler, right? But also making Akali a jungler would also buff Akali's solo lane a lot because Akali's solo lane has this problem where she cannot do ever a single camp. Also, yeah, with Akali you wouldn't even proc the passive at all either, right? So Akali makes the least sense out of these champions. But it's an interesting take. I honestly get it, why he thinks that way. I can understand his point of view. I just don't think Riot is ever gonna make it happen, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense from their POV. Jungle monster damage shouldn't exist if you don't have Smite. I mean, I could see that point, but at the same time, then no champion would be able to jungle, right? As a laner, I don't like that, because I think a lot of fun from League in previous years came from the fact that laners could also do jungle camps. But nowadays it feels like laners cannot oftentimes do jungle camps while the junglers can do lane minions. So it's not a one-to-one relationship. If junglers would not be able to do lane minions, then I would get it. But junglers eventually have to do lane minions, which is why I think also laners should be eventually be able to do jungle camps. Like for example, it would make sense if Riot would punish last laners in late game for doing jungle camps. Because jungle camps give you less XP and gold, right? Or is it only XP if you do it as a laner? Which makes sense, but past like minute 30, minute 20, I don't know if that should be the case that much. I don't know. It's, I think, like a part of the reason why jungle is OP is they get lane minions and they get jungle camps, and jungle camps are ultra boosted for them as well in terms of gold and XP. So they naturally just become one of the highest XP and gold roles in the game.